Welcome back from that break, and if you're just joining us, the program is Good Morning Abuja, showing in the Unity Station, NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Well, we'll be looking into family. Family is where life begins and love never ends. And in the studio with me is a family counselor, Aisha Ada Viruku. And I hope I've pronounced the name very well.
Yes, you did.
Good morning and welcome to the studio.
Good morning.
It's good to have you. And today is International Day for Families. Very important.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, family comes first in everything we do.
Yes.
So, and in the modern times, the concept of family has evolved. So how can we define family in the society where we live today?
Okay. Thank you. When it comes to family, family is the smallest unit of any society. When you have one family here, one family here, one family there, the collection forms a community. Collection of communities form a country, state, nation, and collection of nations form the universe. So family is the smallest unit of any society. It's the smallest unit in the world.
Okay. So what is the importance or what is the role of family in our society today?
The role is, the role of the family unit is very large, because when you talk family, you're talking about upbringing, you're talking about the environment that the individual is nurtured. You're also talking about the first education that an individual actually receives, because that's where socialization begins for any individual. So family is the smallest unit, and the benefits, run through the whole of life from birth to death.
Okay, so the theme of this year is families and urbanization. So can you discuss a little bit about that? When we talk about urbanization, we're still looking into the society where we are today. So this is what we are. We are family, but it affects the whole society. So what can you talk about the theme of this year's?
Okay, when it comes to family, we have the nuclear and then we have the extended. Everyone is treated as family in my house. So there is no differentiation that, okay, this is this. Then we also have monogamous families and we have polygamous homes. So I come from a polygamous home, so it was very large. When we talk about family and urbanization, we would see that yes, the concept of the extended family may not be as popular as it was before. But as Africans, it still exists in urban areas. And the fact that there's been an urban influx has not stopped that extended family setting where you have sometimes it's even in-laws that become family. So the trend now, what are some of the factors when it comes to rural settings? You see that the amenities available in terms of space is more, but when you compare it to the urban area where you have more urban facilities like portable pipe-borne waters and electricity, you'd see that there is the quality of life in urban areas for extended family members, depending on the head of the home, how buoyant the head of the home is. The quality of life may be more improved than when you talk about rural areas where extended family members stay together. So, but that notwithstanding, we also have some families in urban areas where the extended family members live in squalor because of the way the amenities available. So there is the positive side of it when it comes to the family, the extended nature of the African society, the extended family nature of the African society, and when you talk about as against extended family setting in rural areas.
Wow, because in my own case, I grew up to know that my neighbor is my family, this one is my family. At times I used to ask my parents that, who apart from this your siblings I know, because if I meet somebody on the road, you tell me, oh, he's my family from so. And actually, if you sit down to look at it, they're not really family, but because they are neighbors, we tend to like call them family. That's how we all grew up.
Yes.
Well, so there's a school of thought that loneliness is a mental state, because there are some people that you find that when they are living together with the people, they don't really like being surrounded by people, and even when they are their loved ones. So how can that loneliness, they are still lonely even when they are with their own, loved ones. So how can that loneliness be avoided?
Yeah. So I liked the fact that you mentioned about the communal setting in the African society. While we were growing up, there was communal parenting. If your neighbor sees you doing anything, they can discipline you there and then and report you at home. So it was acceptable, it was the standard. But now people are more in clusters, when families are more in clusters, and there is the waning of that communal parenting that we used to have. Now this month, May, is also World Mental Health Day and Mental World Health Awareness Month, and the theme happens to be loneliness.
Oh, wow.
Yes. With urbanization and globalization, we see that there is a waning when it comes to how we actually interact with those around us. So there is this thing I read recently, that while we are in the same room with people, we are our attention is actually over the world, because we are lolling on WhatsApp or lolling on LinkedIn or lolling on Instagram, but the people in the same room with us don't get our attention. So we actually need to pay more attention to the people around us. And my sister also mentioned something about the old. What attention are we giving to our aging parents and grandparents? When we also speak about extended family settings, in those days, the grandma was in the house, the grandpa was in the house, great aunt was in the house. So there was a sense of family and a sense of attention. There was also the passing across of wisdom from the teachings, the stories. I had an uncle that we didn't know what was happening, but he was actually teaching us morals with the story of the tortoise. Every evening, there was not much TV. TV used to start by 4 and end at about, I remember NTA, then would sit down, all those small things, and we're waiting for the TV to come on. So we had moonlight tales of, morality, of how, to be, how do you call it now? Moral character was imbibed in us through those stories of greed and the results that the tortoise falling from the sky and all of that. So now I don't even think that our children know those stories. Who is there to tell them, and are they even ready to listen to those stories? Because the TV is there to entertain them, WhatsApp is there to entertain them, Instagram is there to, so there is always something online that takes attention. So we now need to pay attention. We as parents were responsible for modeling the right kind of behavior. What amount of time do we actually spend on our gadgets?
Yes.
You can't teach a child, you can't instruct a child to do something and then not do it. Yeah, sometimes we say we're working on the phone, but if we're working, is there a time, meal times? Should we be working at meal times? What kind of modeling are we, teaching the child? What kind of values are we passing across? So we need to pay attention to ourselves to combat loneliness, because it's not only about the old, it's about spouses too. What attention are we giving? Quality attention? Can we say that in a day you have 5 minutes undivided attention with your spouse? From studies, it's been, there was a research I read that if you give 2 minutes undivided attention to your spouse in a day, your spouse will feel loved. But can we say we do this? Do we even know each other's love language? Do we know the love language of our children? Do we know the love language of our parents? Do we know even our own love language?
Should we bring back community parenting?
Yes, we should.
And I think it's something we should all do, because then growing up, there's a community parenting and you don't feel bad when your neighbors calls your child. But these days, when your neighbors calls your child, I think, well, we don't want to know what will happen. So in line with the theme of what urban policies do you think the FCT can put in place? What do you think the FCT can put in place to help families?
Okay, living in the FCT is a privilege, and it's a beautiful one, because there are a lot of amenities right now that, with parks, that's free parks that you can enter without paying. You have the Millennium Park, you have the Aso Drive Park. You have a lot of parks around right now that, like most holidays, most breaks, sometimes to get into those parks is a hassle, because like during this holiday, I had a program. I was speaking at a program, and my sister, my mom, and my children, they were supposed to go to I think Jabi Park. I think when they got there, they couldn't get in because of the crowd.
Yes.
So the FCC can look at bringing more of those kind of relaxation places for families to enjoy all around the year. Those parks are open. There was a shutdown of, I think, Millennium Park during COVID.
The COVID,
yes. So now the FCC can prioritize, for those parks that have not been opened. We thank God that there is more of, there are less reported cases of COVID-19 mortality. So we can actually have more of those parks, enjoy. And then I think we should also have educational, competitions for people to actually go there. What we're teaching the children is we're giving them a sense of a place for healthy competition and for them to actually thrive. So we discuss about things that are important in growing the young minds and also the family. So these kind of avenues, media houses can also do this. I know media houses already do some of these competitions where you have some are family based, some are youngster based, some are school based. So FCC can look at supporting more of this.
Okay, that's very good. And I hope they are listening to help us do that so that we can enjoy each other's company. And then before we let you go, as a family counselor who wants one or two advice to families out there.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching. The advice I have is that when it comes to, the growth of any individual, there are various levels we have to, pay attention to in whatever capacity, as a family member, as a parent, as a worker in an organization, as a concerned citizen of Nigeria. We have to pay attention to developing ourselves, because it's with enhancing our mental capital that we're able to give out the best back to ourselves first and the society.
Yeah, we can do better in what we're doing. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we've been speaking to the family counselor on families, organizations, and you heard what she said. Your thoughts can be your habit, and then positive thinking all the way. We'll take a short break, and Good Morning Abuja continues.